What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here at the Nerd Castle taking a look at the Banner Saga, where I just heard that King whatever, basically King Productions, the company that owns Candy Crush, has served Stoic Studios a cease or desist notice for using the Banner Saga. So they've copyrighted the word Saga, which is weird because individual words out of context, I don't feel like those should be allowed. You should have to lend context to your copyright claim. And unfortunately, I think copyright law is one of those things that hasn't been revised in 40 years, and so it's functioning on outdated models that don't necessarily work for an international market or a market with digital distribution. It's strange that that production company is able to serve a small indie studio a warning simply based on the fact that they own the word Saga. How do you own an individual word out of a context? A very, very weird thing. But let's go ahead and pet the ox, and we'll get on out of here because woolly things make me feel better about the world, and right now I'm very disenfranchised. Anyways, it doesn't sound like Stoic Studios is going to fight it, because the King Productions or whatever it is doesn't appear as though they're going to enter litigation about it. They're just going to let it fly. A boy has gone missing from the caravan along with a good number of supplies. The boy's younger brother begins to sob. Some men in the woods made us. Said we had to give them food or they kill us, and don't tell nobody. My brother went over there. Let's go ahead and lead a war party. We lost 20 supplies. Great. Two groups, one on each side, you instruct. They head out and try and calm the parents. Much later, the fighters return bloody and with the boy's body. We cut them down, but we couldn't save the boy. Well, we got our supplies back. That's a plus. And we killed some fools. We brought the pain. As we wander across the Viking landscape, everybody will know, don't steal stuff from us. You can kill our children, but you can't take our stuff. Which seems like an odd line to draw in the sand. We're at a new godstone, and this time it seems better endowed with the breastistes, so hopefully that'll raise morale. I don't know. I don't know if even that will raise morale anymore. Who even knows? Everybody's just in a giant crock of misery at the moment. There's some potatoes and there's some onions all in there with the stew, but the croco misery, still, it sort of tastes like what you might assume the bathwater would taste like after 5 or 6 dudes have been in it. It's just unpleasant all around. So the godstone for Ingrid, goddess of knowledge, looks on the caravan as it takes a much needed rest. Ivor shoos some children away from a solitary dredge slinger lying dead beneath the stone. Should we be worried about that, you ask Ivor, pointing to the dredge body. I don't think so, he replies. Still, couldn't hurt to have a few guards look around. Hours pass without warning. Let's go ahead and inspect the godstone. Ingrid's godstone is carved with ancient runes which don't make much sense to you, though Ivan tells you some of the menders have deciphered them. It's how the menders learn the language of the gods. Past the largest stone, a long series of slabs contain more writing all the way down the hill. The odd thing, he tells you, is that the writing occasionally changes depending on who's reading it. Usually it describes the history of the gods, but it can be about nearly any topic. Sadly, Avon doesn't know how to read it himself. Juno could, he adds. We'll pack up and move on. As you're ready to depart, you hear screams from near the main godstone. The same boys so curious about the dead dredge before are shrieking and pointing for a moment. You think it must not have been dead, but then you see that they've opened a wrapping that was in the dredge's hands. Wait, says Ivor, his arm across your chest. This shouldn't be seen. Get everyone away. A chill sweeps over you. Alette pushes past and gasps. Stop, shouts Ivor, but the curious onlookers have already seen it. What in the hell? Leave it. On the ground before the dead slinger is a small stony figure, its hands searching for something it can't find. That's a baby. The dredge is a woman? We've been killing women. We've been slaughtering women and children this whole time? Leaving them to die? In a war, it's only the males who fight. We've been fighting those dredge a long way. Why are the women and children on their backs attacking us? They're not invading, they're running. Everyone stops dead in their tracks. The entire caravan is gathered around, aghast. When I spoke to Juno, she told me something was coming. She didn't know what. A darkness, something black is covering the world, and the dredge are running from it just as we're running from them. The serpent, the quake, it's all the beginning of the end. Ivor, you knew? Why? Why didn't you say something? Ivor, say something. When I was young, I killed one of the Sunder during the Second Great War. We called it raise. Every time we would build our defenses, it would flatten them and push back against us. I became separated from the rest of the Varl and stumbled upon Raise deep in a snowstorm. Alone, she was nursing. I threw my axe. It twisted in the wind. Her son died in her arms. She was so pathetic, kneeling in the snow. She didn't even try to stop me when I took her head. And that's how I killed Asunder. When I found my way to Grafheim, the Varl wanted to make me Kender, next in line to be king. I left. I walked until I ended up in Skogir, where no one knew what I had done. The only sound is the wind blowing through the trees. Interesting. This game never ceases to amaze me. For a long time, nobody says a thing until a child breaks the silence. What do we do with the baby? She asks. A lump forms in your throat, looking at the small obsidian figures squirming before you. Let's put it to a vote. While some grumble about leaving it to chance, the caravan votes pretty clearly in favor of leaving the infant behind. It remains beneath the godstone as the caravan departs. You try to put the whole episode from your mind and focus on the now reaching Sigurd home. Yeah, that's dark. That's real dark right there. That's a gray area, the depths of which most games wouldn't try to plunge, but it is what it is. We leave and move forward. At least the snow has gone off and gone away. As a bonus, we may have murdered a baby, but I guess though at least the weather's gotten better. If we're trying to make light of a god-awful situation, you're making the usual rounds when you hear a rather loud debate coming from the area where the Varl have gathered. Ivor joins you as you approach. Ubin, you'd rather be known for falling asleep and dying in the corner of a meat house than battling asunder. No, I'd rather be known for not dying. Don't even know what you're worried about. I did this 100 times in the Great Wars. Take some warriors, plow headfirst into the dredge. They follow you into the hills, get lost, now they're not following you. When you did this 100 times, did they have Bellower leading them? Have you never heard about the time I hit Bellower in the head with a throwing axe? Both Varl heart the debate when they suddenly notice you, watching. What's this about? Careful, my friend, a lot of old history getting thrown around here. The warriors were just noting that there's a damn good number of dredge on our asses. Bellower's pulling up the rear. This one thinks he can just wander up there and throw him off our tracks. How about some gratitude? Thought you'd be happy to finally be the oldest Varl in the land, Ubin. I'd never be happy to lose more Varl, Krumir. Besides, I'm not convinced you're really older than me. Nobody's going anywhere. Ha! That might work on Ivor, little one. I'm not asking for your blessing. In the old days, I'd already be halfway onto the battlefield by now. Speaking of which, you coming, Ingvar? You could ask Bellower for your arm back. Don't think so. Not exactly in the mood right now. All right then. Tell Haderborg you said hello. Or I'll tell Haderborg. That must be their Valhalla. Krumir and a good many Varl warriors head out to the growing army of dredge. Is he gonna come back? He always has before, but this time feels different, I fear. Yeah, he's dead as dirt. Bellower's no joke. 20 strength and 20 armor? That guy's scary as hell. I don't want to be anywhere near him. Well then, we've lost all of our Varl. They said that he took some of the Varl with him, but what they meant is he took all of the Varl. That's pretty much a statistical all. He took at least like 8 out of 48, so he took like 16% of everything we had. That's painful. It's pretty painful. 16 point something, maybe 17. A well-tended farm with plenty of livestock draws the caravan's attention. Upon your arrival, the farmer and his workers stand defensively within plain sight, crude weapons at the ready. Their crossed arms make their thoughts clear without a word. Well, come with us, it's not safe here. You warn the farmer of the approaching dredge, but the man spits and says, "This land is my life. I lose that and I may as well be dead." The farmhands slowly nod their agreement, neither joining you nor lowering their weapons. Let's threaten. Your warriors step forward, unsheathing weapons and practically growling. The farmer's men blanch and step aside as you choose the hardiest beasts. The farmer has the sense to say nothing, though the expression on his face stays with you for quite a while, even after you're away. You catch a glance of Alette, who stares at her feet and doesn't make eye contact. Whatever, we need supplies. We were hurting right there. Oh good, it's right off screen. I love how they place everything so you feel maximum dickhood whenever you do something. I've noticed every time we play this game and there's a dickish decision to be made, we make it right before the city shows up, and then the developers are like, "Ah, I gotcha, you thought you were out of supplies." Gather round, doubters, echoes a shout in the distance as Krumir and his band of warriors break through the nearby foliage, and behold the invincible Varl. The caravan is thrilled to see Krumir return safely. Did the plan work, says Ubin. Work, responds Krumir. Of course it worked. Same old dredge. Should be another day or two at least before they even find their own asses. And if you apologize, I'll tell you how I found these, Krumir says, tossing you a pair of leather gloves look big enough for a Varl. He leans in close, whispering so Ubin can't hear. Had something to do with a raven's nest and a hair tie. Yeah, that sounds like something. It's Dunder's hand. Weird. Either way, got weak morale back up, and we got a ton of renown. That was a win-win situation. I feel pretty great about that whole thing.
As Sigurholm approaches, we fear the worst. The once calm lake surrounding it now looks like a bowl that has been flipped. Proud homes sinking into muddy water. A side effect of the quake. What has the rest of the world become on the other side of those mountains?
Yep, it looks like the world's become a turd sandwich, and we appear to be clearly out of bread and all other edibles. But, you know, sometimes you just gotta chomp down on that thing. Oh, look, our morale went back down again. It was recovering, but only briefly. Sigh. Siga, I suppose if we wanted to say it phonetically. One catastrophe to another, says Oddleif as you pull into Sigerholm. The town appears to be sinking into the lake. Townspeople peek from the dark windows in makeshift hovels further up the hill. No, says Avon, looking frantic. Where is she? He runs to the front of the caravan, looking out over the water. Juno isn't here, and you get the creeping feeling that you're not welcome either. Going upriver looks out of the question. The beach is bare aside from the occasional skeleton of a ruined fishing boat. You reluctantly set up camp in the sinking town. All I'm saying is, how long are you willing to wait? While taking stock of Caravan, you've inadvertently walked into a debate between Oddleif and Avend. As long as we need to. And I think we need to get out of here. I don't feel good about this place. Why? What's wrong? Something doesn't feel right. The people here are staring at us like those vultures in the wastes. Sorry, Avend, I think Oddleif is right. I saw a man, and the whole time we were setting up, he was just watching me. In a creepy way. And how long before the dredge find us here? Juno will come. Just give it a little bit more time. Rook, listen to me. I need you to trust me on this. Honestly, I'd be the guy to just recommend plundering the entire place. We've got way more fighters, and we could just wipe the place off the map and take all their stuff. I'm getting vicious. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel pretty fine about annihilating everybody that gets in my way and taking their stuff. It seems like that big snake thing is saying he's going to eat the world anyway, so it doesn't appear as though we've got hope to begin with. It seems like we're running from an apocalypse being eaten by an apocalypse. Like, basically Ragnarok is chasing the apocalypse right now. And making good ground, I might add. You're really worried about her, aren't you? What? Oh, Juno. Worry doesn't begin to describe it. If she doesn't find us here, or if something has happened to her, are you sure what you saw was real? It could have been a dream, or I don't know. You were pretty exhausted. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure about anything anymore because everything's a blur. Don't tell the others I said that. I have to hope it was just a dream. What's it like to be a mender? Being a mender? I guess I really never thought about it like that. It's just a part of me. They knew very young that I would join the order. Born into it, you could say. My mother and father, both menders. The guild is for lots of people now. Builders and healers. Do they all pull lightning out of the sky? No, that's abnormal. It's one of the reasons I know Juno. She's on the council. She helps me control things like this, so we don't end up scaring people. How exactly does weaving work anyways? Well, the hardest part is usually seeing the threads. Everything is part of the tapestry. It's made of threads woven together. If you can see the threads, you can manipulate them. I don't know how to explain it, really. It's like trying to play a harp with invisible strings. Look at my staff, for example. Some menders carve intricate patterns into the wood to help them remember the shapes of... Like I said, it's hard to explain. Why is Bellower still following us? I saw Grofheim as it burned. Avon gets a faraway look in his eyes. The Sunder blew through it like a tempest. The Varl fell in the thousands. Most of the Sundir left the city and headed south. Who knows where they are now? They might be destroying every town they come to or heading towards Arborang. Bellower stayed in Grofheim just for the sport of it, I think. As we fled to Einertoft, I thought he must want to wipe the Varl off the map completely. But then he came after us. Maybe he knew Ivor was the one who killed Reyes. Maybe, but let's just make sure he doesn't catch up. Do you think this is the end times? I don't know what to think. I wish I could give you a better answer. Even if we escape the dredge, that serpent set of darkness was covering the world. I don't know how long that'll take or even what it means. I'm just trying to solve one problem at a time. The Menders are in Arborang. If we can find ships and make it to the capital, we might have a chance. Well, I won't take it any more time. No, it's okay, Rook. I appreciate the talk. It's good to stay grounded. I spend all day worrying about serpents or Sunder. I think a lot of people are intimidated or scared, maybe, of me. Don't worry, it's nothing new. I'm used to it. Maybe sometime we could talk about the things that don't include the world ending. You know, a lot of dour topics to be discussed here as we go through, and not a whole lot of happy things to be had. We have 29 there. Let's take a look at the market. See if they have anything worth grasping. Nemej's ring, or I don't even know how to say that word. A J doesn't go there. The ring was once worn by the great kings of men to symbolize the unification of his people. 2 strength deflected plus 1 will per kill. It's a nice piece of equipment. The obsidian bell. 3 armor on rest plus 2 drawing aggro and 1 strength. Interesting. There's lots of stuff that I would like to have, but it's just unclear how useful it's going to be. We could grab a couple supply. And how much do they have? They have loads of supplies, so we could stock ourselves up for the future and just make sure that we're completely and totally safe. But then again, the game likes to steal things from us, so I'm not so sure. Got 5 days worth of food. And I'm scared to spend on anything. Let's give ourselves a week to play with, and that'll leave us with 25. Some of these seem really nice. The 2 strength deflected would be a great boon to us. Let's confirm that. And let's take a look at the other piece of equipment that they gave us as well. They did mention that it was an orange piece of equipment, so it is legendary. It might be useful for something. Oh, I didn't want a map. I clicked the wrong thing right there. I thought I clicked the Heroes tab. The wrong thing has been clicked, and so now we must suffer through a loading screen. Suffer! All of you suffer. Now then, let's have a look at our equipment. We've got Farthing Yord. +3 armor break. Yeah, that's a pretty badass piece of equipment, which we could give to Alette. Let's go ahead and drop that down. Move it all around. And Farthing Yord, she can now break 8 armor on her first turn. Oh my, that's definitely an ass-busting attack if I've ever seen one, since she's the only person that can equip it right now. I think I'm going to stick with it. We could potentially give it to Gunnulf, since he's in the front lines and he's terrible at sundering armor anyways. That would give him a 4, which would be a bit more useful. And he could do that natively, too. Since he's a frontline combatant, that might turn out to be something that would be useful. But then again, I think I'm just going to keep it on my designated armor breaker for now. He'll level up pretty soon, which will mean that natively he could just do 6, which will be badass. Especially since I haven't leveled him up to the extent that I'd like to. And then the other thing that we picked up, I got sidetracked here. Let's go ahead and have a look and see what the other thingamadoober was. Dunder's Hand, +3 to Strength. That's really, really nice. That would be the kind of thing that I would love to slap on Gunnulf in the future. Because that would put him at 21 Strength where he maxed out. That's a hell of a hit. That means that he could hit Bellower for damage just starting out. Which means he could actually one-shot Bellower if we could get his armor low enough and just make Bellower completely and totally a non-factor. But anyways, I don't know when we're going to square off against Bellower, but one might assume it's probably not too far off on the horizon. It looks like we've still got some time left in the episode, so I think what I'll do is we're just going to forced march on out of here. We've got the equipment that we need, so let's be gone. Rook, wait, please, Avon begs. She said she'd be here and we need her. You can tell he's terrified as leaving, as though he'd be giving up on her. We've got an extra day. We'll do one more day. We'll stick it out a little bit longer. So we'll do 1 day of rest. A scuffle has broken out in front of the houses. Thief, shouts one of your people as a group of strangers flee from your camp. Oddleif is already running in their direction. They took our supplies. Let's go ahead and chase the thieves. Come on, you shout, and several of you join in the chase. You wander onto a beach where some men have been waiting for you. Some terse words are exchanged about whether or not something has been stolen. You don't see who draws the first weapon, but it ends the conversation dead. Oh, good, we get to fight. I'm pretty stoked about that. I was hoping we weren't going to get ourselves into a battle here, but we need battle. We need war in order to make this whole thing work. I don't recall who I wanted to bring along. But somebody that would be useful to us. I don't know how big this battle's going to be, and it might be worthwhile to bring a couple more of our big nasty ass beaters in. That's the group that we've made up. They're called the BNABs, the BNABs. There you go, the BNABs. I had to make it up on the spot because my brain isn't working quite as rapidly as I'd hope. Typically when I talk, so I'll tell you how this works. A look into the mind of the Splattercat. Basically how this works for me most of the time is that as I say something, my brain is contemplating the next thing I'm going to say. And unfortunately, I didn't get to the BNABs there before I got much further. I'm going to go, let's just go with Gunnulf for now, and we'll keep Egelin. And let's say that we're ready, and we'll use this opportunity to maybe level up Nid a little bit. I'd like to go 3 melees and 3 ranged into any battle, because ranged, they do appear to have a very clear advantage in a lot of these battles. Now then, they've got us surrounded on all sides by archers. That's a scary ability right there. She's got Bird of Prey, which is a 100% chance to hit with strength at range 7 tiles. I don't know how I want to associate right now, but I think I'm going to push a hard left with everything that we have. So I'm going to put a tank in the back. We'll put him right there. And we're going to push left, and then we're going to take this corner, turn around, refocus. I think is what I would like to do, since all of their archers are over here that have abilities that scare me. What did they have? Stonewall. So these guys are rocking Stonewall, which could be a problem too. Let's say that we're ready, and then we're just going to go for it. Since he's up first, let's go ahead and position. And that's our first guy who's going to be an actor. I would hope that we can get Gunnulf to somebody and murder him straight up front. So yeah, there's 12 damage right there, or you can do 10 to her. I'm going to have him do 10 to her, so there's going to be our first kill. Down she goes. And he burned a bunch of... Yeah, he burned up some willpower to get over there. He definitely was clocking in some expenditures. Now for her, I could marginalize her pretty early on in the fight because he can overextend himself. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a really hard gambit to take this side of the field nice and early and often. I'm also going to use Impale because I think she's probably going to have to move in the next turn. Oh, never mind. He's not going to be able to reach. So what we'll do is we'll start out there, and we could do 6 damage. But I think a 4 will suffice. That'll put her down to 3, which is pretty... Oh, he crit! Very nice! And so that's a really, really unexpected boon that we've managed to grab right there. Or a noob, if you wanted to spell it backwards. Some people might call that a noob move, and that's kind of noob luck. I could call it, if you wanted to spin it around as a boon, it's definitely a noob move if you're in competitive play, getting those lucky procs. I hate losing to procs. I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice, but losing to procs, absolutely miserable. If you don't know what a proc is, it's a program random occurrence. I don't get what that does. So Bird of Prey, 100% chance to hit at a longer range, maybe? What's her normal range? Her normal range is out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so Bird of Prey allows her to go out to 7? Okay. So that's an interesting attack, and it would be nice for shooting through our own ranks. I'm going to start with the armor on this guy up here, just to get the pot boiling a little bit. I don't think we necessarily need to, because next turn, Gunnulf should be able to wipe him out pretty quickly. On this side, I'm going to start backing off my troops. And we'll do the same thing over here. So there's 5 armor gone, and that should line Rook up for a nice little kill here. She might be able to get close enough. Oh, she wasn't close enough. Okay. So that's going to get Rook close enough to where he can one-shot that guy, so that's what we're going to do. We'll reform our line and wheel about after we handle this problem. Down he goes. And on this side, what we're going to do now is we're going to stop right there and we're going to put in... we don't need to put in Stonewall. We might for her. That's my only confusion. Then again, her strength is 6, so she can't hurt anybody in this line. Let's take our chances. We'll live on the edge for a minute. And now, in the process of wheeling about, I'm going to have Gunnulf come around this way. He and Trigvi are going to press that right flank. Or the left flank, I suppose, since that's how you're looking. But for him and his facing, that would be his right flank. And I don't know if you announced that in terms of like stage right and left. If you were telling somebody else facing a different direction militarily, which direction would you choose? Or would you just say my left? Sometimes I get confused about specificity of things like that. It might be because I just think and talk in weird ways, I don't know. Over here, I'm going to form up the line and we're going to get her going with some armor breakage right up in the front. 2 armor broken. And I didn't think they were going to abandon their posts. I really kind of felt like they were probably going to hang out right there. I should bring somebody melee around this side to help out too. I'm going to put her right there to deal 5 armor damage to him. Actually, no, let's go for the full 8, since he's one of the remaining armored people on the field. And what that'll do is that'll line up Rook to take that position right there, and put him at the point where he really can't hurt us that much anymore. She's going to take Eagle Eye, which is an interesting choice. A long bomb attack right there. I'm going to continue forward with the same plan I had before. And since he's probably got Flail, yeah, he's got Bloody Flail. I needed somebody over here with at least a little bit better armor. We'll go with 10 damage right there. And the next turn we'll figure out what we want to do with all of our melee flavors. We're going to form up right there on that spot. We're going to go for a Stonewall. damage train has already started, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and burn a little bit of willpower to get Gunolf lined up. It looks like they're going to focus on Nid. My hope for Nid was to have her score a couple kills, but it's not going to happen now. He's going to hope for a bloody flail luck. She's gonna fall back. Six damage taken right there, and I'm gonna get up in here and start killing off some of these archers because these bitches need to go. So she's dead first. We need to start thinking about some armor damage over here. Look, he magically got 4 strength, 2 turns in a row, the statistical likelihood of which is incredibly low, just in case you were wondering. 2 turns in a row with 2 possible, 8 outcomes, all coming out exactly the same. Basically, flip a coin 8 times. Let me know how often it comes out all heads. Just let me know. Just kind of spin that one up for me. I'm going to try and force them into doing something awkward here in the interest of keeping people alive. And my interest now is to trap this guy within the confines. Does he have any of that? Yeah, he does. He has Impale left. So we're going to start with an Impale here. Although I probably stepped the wrong... I probably should have gone this way. Now that I'm thinking about it, he's just going to close that gap one more time. Damn it. Oh, no, but we can do that as a deterrent. So if he decides to close the gap right there, he's definitely going to take some damage. So enjoy that, dick. What I'm going to do here is we're going to knock his armor completely and totally out so we can do something with what's remaining. God, that ability is overpowered. Oh my god. That was like the deepest shot I've ever seen. I mean, either way, we need to trigger pillage mode, like right now. I'm gonna kill him off. A la rapid. She's still gonna get another turn, and she's got 1 remaining, so yeah, she's obviously gonna do that. You go straight to whatever hell is called in Viking mythology. I don't know. I'm all tapped out right now. And I'm irritated with the circumstance. Let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to break off the episode here. The thieves scatter pretty quickly when you start laying into them, and when you return to the caravan you discover why. Even more... Really? Like... Oh no. Alright, well it's one of those situations where you have to like laugh to avoid crying. Like that's really your only option. And so I guess since we just lost a bunch of supplies, it means we're going to have to use what we just earned in that last battle to replace them. I think we're about out of time today. And honestly, I think I'm a little out of patience too, so I'm going to take a little breaksies because I feel as though now that all of our PB&Js have been looted that I just deeply, deeply want to cry myself to sleep. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode, and take care out there, everybody.